And welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys. We are going to be going over that game in a bit more detail tonight. Of course, you all know exactly what I'm on about, the humiliation that we did suffer tonight at the hands of Roma. In this video, we are going to be looking into the positioning, into the performances from individual players, from the structure of our team, and finally looking at Valverde, exactly what went wrong in the terrible game that it was tonight. Really, really bad. And this video is coming to you courtesy of the UFL app. I did say in my previous video that I would be coming back in this one and having a look at it, so I'm going to stick to my word. So the best performing players in this game according to the UFL app, which is absolutely right to be honest, De Rossi and Dzeko, both of those players caused enormous problems along with Nainggolan tonight. The best performing Barca players were Messi, Piqué and Busquets, which is ironic because all three of those for me were playing right now not at 100% fit. The top 20 is here, guys. I was horrific on the night. 97th I finished in amongst my followers. Thank you to all of you who did play along, even though of course it was not the result we wanted tonight and not the performance from any of the guys I'm sure that you selected. But moving on now, and it's an entire collective effort tonight. I'm not going to look in this video and I'm not going to point the finger at any specific player and say it's all your fault, it was all because of them. As a collective unit tonight, as a collective team, it wasn't good enough. Not from the very first minute. We didn't start the game in the right way. We were too slow. Roma were first to every single ball. And when you go into any game doing that, Roma are not a great side. They're really not. But in any game, if you're second best, you've got a real problem, because every single ball that went in our area, went in our direction, we were not first to it. Roma were more hungry, they were more determined, they showed more ambition, and on the night, they were the better team. There's absolutely no getting away with that. The only player for me who can come out of this with any credit whatsoever would be Marc-Andre ter Stegen. I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10 for him tonight. He didn't do anything wrong. He actually made a phenomenal save in the second half as it was whipped into the back post. Kolarov got there. It looked to everybody like it was going to be a certain goal. Ter Stegen kept it out. At that point, it looked like maybe he'd keep us in the Champions League, but unfortunately, he was just delaying the inevitable. The only goal that he could have maybe done a bit better on was the first one. Dzeko got it past him maybe a bit too easily. The penalty he could do nothing about in the corner. It was a brilliant header from Manolas. He could do nothing there. And then in terms of my other ratings, not to really pinpoint one specific player, I'm going to do it a bit differently. We're going to look at the back four, then we're going to look at the midfield as a collective unit, and then we're going to look at the strikers, obviously Suarez and Messi, and then we are going to look at Valverde. So in a way, I guess that would be pointing it at one specific person, but if there is one person that has to take the brunt of it, he does have to, because he is the coach, he does lead that team, and that is basically the responsibility you have as a coach of Barcelona. But the back four, I'm going to go with 2 out of 10 tonight. I think it was absolutely atrocious defensively. It really, really was. I'm not talking about fantastically worked goals here from Roma. This is absolutely basic stuff, long ball stuff that we didn't deal with. We did not deal with simple balls over the top, which bypassed our midfield. It was on the back four then to be firm, to be strong, to defend them. And what they did today, they allowed themselves to be bullied, and that is unacceptable. Dzeko and Schick, again, not world-class centre-forwards. They absolutely bullied Umtiti and Piqué. Alba and Semedo didn't provide a lot of resistance. They didn't provide a lot of cover, especially for the first goal. You look at it, it's a ball over the top, and Dzeko, he's not a pacey guy, but he simply gets between Jordi Alba and Samuel Umtiti. Neither of them react. Both of them are completely unaware of the run. He gets through the middle. He's one-on-one with ter Stegen, and like I say, he finishes it off. Maybe ter Stegen could do better, but it's a really simple goal. It's not well worked, but somehow we don't defend it. The corner that comes in, basic there. I think he gets away from Semedo. Poor defending from the set piece. The penalty, Piqué really, really poor again. Umtiti doesn't react quick enough. He doesn't go back and help Gerard Piqué. He's sluggish to get there. Piqué makes a big mistake, gives away the penalty. Nothing we can do. So as a collective unit tonight, the back four, very, very poor. A bad defensive display today, and that resulted, of course, in us conceding 3 goals. But having said that, the midfield did absolutely nothing to help. I'm going to give them a 3, only slightly better than the back four, but simply because there was a period in the game where the midfield was actually trying to keep the ball, take the pressure off. There's Busquets and Rakitic in there who tried to work hard, but we couldn't keep the ball. There was 4 players in there, which Valverde has insisted on doing in nearly every single game this season, but at no point in this game did we have control of it. We did not have a single second of relaxation. Roma were relentless. They kept coming onto us and coming onto us and coming onto us, and there was nothing that we could do in this game, and it was so disappointing to see that kind of display from this midfield. Sergio Roberto was trying to get up the pitch. You've got to give him credit for that. He was trying to make runs out, but when he got out of our half, which I have to say was very, very seldom, it was really seldom that we actually got out of our own half and tried to get up the pitch. But when he did, there was nobody around him, there was no support, and before you know it, he'd be crowded out. So a poor midfield performance. They were disjointed, they were all far too far away from each other, there was no real organisation in that midfield, no structure, which is so strange given the kind of system that Valverde has tried to employ. It didn't work tonight, it completely collapsed, and as a result, so did our team. And then you work your way onto your forwards, Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi, two absolutely world-class players on their day capable of scoring goals against any team. But tonight, we gave them nothing. We gave them absolutely no ammunition. I would go with a 4 simply because it wasn't really their fault tonight that we conceded 3 goals, but it was their fault that the ball never stuck up front. But at the same time, there was no help at all. Like I say, when they got the ball, they were crowded out by Roma's 3 centre-backs. The midfield was flooding around them. There was no runners from midfield. There was nobody trying to help them out, and it was really poor tonight. We hardly managed a single shot on target. The only time in the game where we looked like scoring a goal was when Valverde decided to actually make a change. He brought on Dembele, brought on Alcácer together, basically when we said go for it, like we should have done maybe a few times in the game. We didn't do that, we waited far too long, and the only time we actually looked like scoring and that we wanted to score was in those last few minutes. Other than that, it was basically very poor, no attack whatsoever. There was nothing at all there that really gave us any hope, and in fairness, Suarez and Messi did most of their work defensively. They had to track back, we were in our own half, we were camped there. It was basically at times like we were parking the bus. A Barcelona side sat in their own half that deep in the pitch I have never ever seen. Not under any coach, not under any circumstances. I have never seen us have to sit back that deep in a game for such a long period. From the first minute to the 85th minute, we didn't look like scoring, we didn't look like we wanted to score. It was all about defending, and it was so poor and so horrible to watch. And then you move on to the man himself, Ernesto Valverde. And what can you say about this? I'm going to give Valverde a 1. I really am tonight, because you cannot defend him. As much as this season has been good in the league, we've been extremely solid, we're still unbeaten, but at the same time, we've been coming here week upon week saying, this isn't really Barcelona. This is not really what we're set out to do as a club. It's too defensive. It's too cautious. It's not enough for us Barcelona supporters to sit there week in, week out and watch this kind of football. It's not what we do. At other clubs, you could go there, you can get results and you can get away with it. Even at Real Madrid, you can get away with playing results-orientated football. But at Barcelona, we are different. Whether we like it or not, we are a different club, and it simply doesn't sit well with us. And tonight, we felt the full force of that. We were exposed. That's the only way that I can put it. Valverde's tactics were well and truly exposed. We haven't been that solid at the back this season. Defensively, in terms of numbers, in terms of stats, we've been right up there. But we know full well this season, most of the time, we've been relying on Ter Stegen at the start of the season, was outstanding. Umtiti and Piqué have had their moments where they've both been world class in defence, but it hasn't been as a structure, as a unit, all rosy. It really hasn't. And at the other end of the pitch, you'd have to say, a lot of time this season, we have been bailed out by the absolute genius that is Lionel Messi, who has been once again this season carrying us on his back once again, all on him. If it's not Messi, nobody else seems to rise to the plate. Messi and Suarez can combine brilliantly as a duo. They can be absolutely magnificent at times, but it all comes down to Messi. If on the night he doesn't score, he didn't tonight, we often really suffer. And that is basically what we've seen this season. A team who've been decent, who've been solid, who've been structured most of the time, but in some games we have seen just some cracks appearing, and unfortunately tonight, in the worst possible way that you could imagine, we have seen all the cracks come to that crescendo, and we've ended up being kicked out of the Champions League in what is for Roma an unbelievable comeback. And like I say, they deserve to win tonight. Their coach deserves an enormous amount of credit for being brave, for being bold, for going for it. Their players are outstanding. Like I say, Edin Dzeko bullied us. Nainggolan made some fantastic runs from midfield, something that we simply did not do. They showed a lot more energy than us. They showed a lot more desire, a will to win. We, on the other hand, sat there. Valverde didn't change anything. There was no Dembele until later on. Dembele was thrown on as a last resort, which for me, as a signing coming in, that bigger player, somebody who massively impacted the last 16 stages, that for me is unacceptable. His reluctance to use Dembele. Semedo, you've got to remember, who's been really good the last few weeks. He's only been in the team lately. Apart from that, Valverde has ignored him for most of the season. You think about Denis Suarez, somebody who's looked really encouraging. Again, no faith at all shown from Valverde. We haven't seen any B players called up. We haven't seen any rotation. And unfortunately, like I say, all of that combined combined into one has all gone wrong in one night. It's been waiting to happen. We've been delaying the inevitable. We're going to win the league. We'll celebrate that, of course we will. But tonight, on the Champions League front, where we needed to get it right, where we wanted to avoid being humiliated and embarrassed, we didn't do that. And I am so sorry that we've allowed this to happen tonight. It is embarrassing. It is really tough to take. We're going to have to criticise. We're going to have to ask questions. That's the way you get answers. But at the end of this all, I want us all to stand together, all of us to unite. We have Barca's best interest at heart. We want what's best for this club. We want to be the Barcelona that we know, the identity that we love, the philosophy that we strive for. That is Barcelona. That is our roots, and that is what we are always working towards. We can do that together. We will criticise if we need to. We will ask questions. Of course we will. But at the end of the day, we will come together. We will rise above this. Somehow we will move forward. It's going to take some time. It's going to hurt. It's going to be difficult. Of course it is. But thank you, as always, guys, for joining me, even in these tough moments. We will get through it in the end. But tonight, a night to forget for sure. A dark day for Barcelona. And I'm sorry once again that we've had to go through this. I will see you soon with more videos. Hopefully they will be more uplifting, and hopefully we will have some light at the end of the tunnel. But for now, we're out of the Champions League, and it does not look good. Vesca! El Barça!